Hey everybody, it's Mike Jeffers, ChicagoJazz.com, and this is episode 91 of Jazz This Week, live at Johnny O's. I have two guests today, Joanne Daugherty, Bruce Henry. They are doing a performance February 10th at Winters, an acoustic tribute to Al Jarreau. Let's get a sample of what that's going to sound like.
Better than sailing at midnight, better than diving for pearls, better than skiing at Aspen or feeding the squirrels, better than finding a horseshoe or losing your head, better than anything foreign or anything said, better than sailing late at night or watching Amo Griffith fight, better than anything but being in love. Being in love. Being in love.
All right, we are back here live at Johnny O's. Of course, we have the hot dogs. We have Bridgeport. We have two guests this week. Two guests. They have a show coming up February 10th. Joanne, Bruce, I have to ask you, I ask all of my guests, you know what's coming. Have you ever done a jazz talk show at a hot dog stand?
Never.
First time for me.
See? But I'm sure you guys have played a lot of funky places. Just haven't done an interview at a hot dog stand before, right?
That's right.
That's right. Well, I'm excited they're on the show. I'm excited they're on the show today. They have a show coming up February 10th. It's, what is it called exactly? An acoustic tribute to Al Jarreau. And it's coming up at Winters. So before we get into the show and before we get into talking about how they got together on this and put the concept together, why don't we get a short little version of your background so everybody knows who you are if they don't already. So Joanne, why don't you go first? I know you're from Kansas City originally and you moved up here.
Yes, I've been in Chicago area for a while now. I'm a piano player, music director, conductor. I do all kinds of stuff, but my heart lives in acoustic jazz music, so...
Now you've done...
It's been a good town for me.
I mean, when you came up to town, you were playing clubs and all that, but you've done musicals, you've been touring, you toured with Jersey Boys, is that right?
Yep.
So, I mean, and you played with Victor Goines, you've
Yes.
toured with him a lot.
Yeah, Chicago's been a good town.
Yeah, but you're based straight out of Chicago.
I live here now, and I'm happy to do it. So,
yeah, and now, Bruce, we were talking before we came on camera, he's based here and in Minneapolis, and you're originally from here, but you do business in Minneapolis and play in Minneapolis and tour all over the place too. So why don't you give us a little background? How did you start performing, and why are you in two cities?
Yeah, I'm the king of Highway 94.
Yeah, right.
I started out in Chicago singing in gospel churches on the west side. Matter of fact, the church I went to was right across the street from the United Center.
Okay.
It's
Right on the west side.
one building standing over there right now. And so I grew up singing in the church like a lot of jazz singers and soul singers, and I studied music here, Conservatory of Music, and then I had no aspirations of being a professional singer, even though I studied music. Mm-hmm. But I moved up to Minneapolis, fell in love with music, and was part of the Minneapolis scene up there because I did R&B and jazz.
That's like a heavy-duty music scene up there. Oh. It might not be as big as like a Chicago as far as huge, but it's really, really hot, isn't it? I mean, it's like
amazing.
A lot of killers.
For a town of size that I could spend the rest of the show telling you about the stars that came out of it.
You also have like a history.
Yeah, that's my passion. The evolution of African American music. It's a curriculum that traces the development of African American music over the last 400 years. So everything from folk songs, antebellum songs, to hip hop, to protest music, to the history of jazz. So I do it in lecture form, but I also am working in combining it to high entertainment with education.
Oh, okay.
So in a theater or in an event concert hall, I do it that way too.
We could probably talk about that for the entire
It's
show.
a whole nother day.
All right, we got to have you back. We got to talk about that. Now, you guys have a show coming up February 10th.
Yes.
And it's at Winters. And it's a tribute to Al Jarreau, the great Al Jarreau.
Yes.
But first, how did you guys, now we talked before we came on camera, you played once before and then decided we got to do this.
Yeah, we actually, we were playing on the same bill for it was the birthday party for the pastor of Tridestone Church. Charles Heath put together a really amazing program of music, just a kind of journey of music for the evening. And And Bruce was there, and I was there, and we played a couple of Al Jarreau tunes together. And this has been in my mind and my heart for years and years and years. I've just wanted to dig into this catalog because I love this music so much because it's unabashedly positive. There's no irony in it. It's just enormously full of love. And this seems like the time to do that. You know, it's the time we need that.
Yeah, that's for sure, right?
So I've been wanting to do it forever, and then Providence had it that I ran into the exact right people at the right time. So I called Bruce and I said, I got this crazy idea, you know. So,
now, how hard is it to put together a show like this? Because, I mean, you can only pick 2 sets of tunes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably do a 5-hour concert for Al Jarreau's tunes.
The well is deep, for sure.
It is, and you have to keep in mind, okay, what songs would work together with a small ensemble?
That's
what
true.
songs would sound better and more acoustic? You know, and it helps.
Doing it this way, with an acoustic sound, you know, you're probably able to kind of reinvent some of those Al Jarreau tunes that you would normally hear as an electric quality to it.
Yeah, it's fresh too. You know, I also miss the keyboard sounds. I love all that stuff. I love the production on those records. But it is kind of a new life into these tunes we've heard a bunch. You know, we're not playing them straight from the record. We're breathing life into these pieces again,
Right.
You know,
You're reinventing it. You're kind of taking your spin on it,
you
right?
know, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And they're great songs, so they stand up.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much however you do it, the song behind it is strong.
So now you must have been studying and playing Al Jarreau tunes coming up, right? I mean, was he an influence in your
Yes, he
background?
definitely was an influence, as was Mr. McFerrin, and who I had the pleasure of working with before.
Wow.
Wow.
But it's kind of a, you know, not that I compare myself to either one of them, but it's kind of a parallel thing because I was always that guy. I always sang a cappella. I always made weird noises. You know, I call them pocket instruments.
Right.
I always imitate instruments with my voice. And so when I heard someone like Al Jarreau, I was like, it was a kindred spirit in a way as well as being influenced by him.
Right. Like, what tunes can people expect to hear on this that they're gonna, like, you know, they're gonna say, I heard that on the Jazz This Week show, and I
my
gotta go and
goodness.
see this tune.
Well, we have some of the mega hits. We're in this love together. After all, moonlighting. You know, less jazzy. I guess more pop. Some of it, and then some of the deeper ones.
Alonzo is one of my favorite songs by Al Jarreau.
Better than anything. Not like this. Some
We
of these.
Got By.
We got by.
Yeah.
Oh, so just the list goes on and
Yeah.
on and on.
Now, did you guys plan this out? Because obviously Al Jarreau's music is, romantic on some level. It's grooving on some level. And of course, it's Valentine's Day weekend.
It's perfect. It's a perfect.
It's almost like you planned it that way.
Almost. I mean, it's these are songs about love.
Right.
Love gone right, love gone wrong, love to the world at large. You know.
Yeah.
So it's just good timing on our.
So who else is playing on the gig? Who's in the band?
We have Henry Johnson on guitar and vocals too. He's singing
he's
some
killer,
stuff,
yeah.
and he's it's been so much fun to rerehearse with
Are
him.
you guys doing harmonies on some of that? Are you guys doing a little two-part harmony thing?
Yeah, we
Come
have a
and find
couple.
out.
A little something
It's a
there.
tease, man.
Here and there. So we have Henry Johnson. We have Joshua Ramos on bass.
Dynamite.
Super, super good. And Ryan Bennett on the drums. So
That's great.
Just a nice group of folks that.
And now at Winters, and that's the thing that I love about Winters. I know everybody always watches the show, and every week I pick one of the groups that's playing at Winters. Well, first of all, they have live music there 6 nights a week, so there's lots to choose from, so that's why I like it. But also, I love Winters. The owner's great. Hi, Scott. But I love Winters because it's an intimate vibe.
Oh, it
And
is.
it's you can go to the Mill, you can go to the Showcase, all incredible rooms.
Yes.
But Winters has just got a little bit different, intimate vibe, and I think that it really lends itself. And that's probably why Scott started out kind of focusing more on the vocal jazz stuff, is because it really allows you to focus on the instrumentation, but the vocalist is front and center there, right? Have you ever sang there before?
I have not, actually. This will be my first time.
Okay, but you've played there.
I've played there a lot,
yeah.
and it's a treat because there's so many things that become possible when the room is that quiet. And most recently, I was there. One of the nights Victor was there in January. Victor Goins was a clarinet night,
Okay.
and the room was packed and quiet enough that he could play off mic.
Wow, really?
And everybody was just leaning forward and including me. I was like, what's going to happen next, So then that is only possible in a situation like that.
Yeah.
We can only experience these things.
That's right.
And give them out to people when the setting allows it,
That's
so
right.
It's really, really fun for us.
Right. Before I get into my 3 picks of the week, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about some other projects that maybe you have, so we can plug them here. Right now, I know that you, Joanne, has a new release out. It came out last. Oh, she just happens to have a copy of it.
No.
Bring Joy. You performed it at the Jazz Fest this past year.
Oh, what a treat that was. Yeah.
And how
lots
are
of stuff on YouTube about that.
I was going to ask you, so where can people get more information about Joanne Daugherty?
JoanneDaugherty.com. There's a YouTube channel with lots of videos from Jazz Fest and from other fun things that have been going on. So,
Are you doing any trio things around town that people should know about?
Steady Monday Night Trio at Bandera Restaurant. Just a great home base for us. 6 to 10 on Mondays. Great food. Wonderful setting. So that's been our anchor for a while.
Well, and the recording that she has out, it's all original tunes, right?
Not all original. There's
Okay.
there's a little Stevie Wonder in there. There's
Okay.
a little.
It's amazing.
Oh my
It's
goodness!
beautiful.
Thank you. Oh, that's the
I
best
love
thing.
it. Seriously.
And now, Bruce, you have a website. Where can we send people over to?
BruceAHenry.com.
All right, BruceAHenry.com. Now, you have a couple releases out, don't you? Have a nice
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I have a few releases out. Bruce Henry Live and Natural was recorded at the Dakota, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Up in the Twin
Minneapolis,
Cities.
yeah.
So, that's the latest one. And a couple other ones. And February 23rd, I'll be at T&JJ's
Okay.
out in Maywood. That's the first time for me with the regular trio that I play with around town. And I'll be doing a little traveling around town. But that's the February 10th and then February 23rd. Those are my Chicago performances.
So when you're playing not the acoustic Jarreau tribute, what kind of music can they expect to hear? Are you doing mixtures of things? Is
It's
it
crazy,
standards,
man.
or
It's
is it
really crazy,
Oh, yeah?
man. It's crazy.
I believe that.
I throw in a few originals, and the Jazz Police might not like what I do.
I think they got rid of those guys. I think those guys left like 10 years ago. They were arresting everybody and they got tired and just left.
It's a synthesis. I'm an eclectic guy. That's who I am to the core. But it's improvisational. The music's improvisational, and I love to blend world music flavors. I have a lot of 6/8.
Yeah.
A lot of rhythm and drums and driving. So 6/8 replaces swing for me on most of my gigs. But it's eclectic, and I always have, a little jazz messenger vibe to what I do.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, every week I have 3 picks of the week. Now, if you have seen the show, I'm happy you have. I always have a disclaimer. And the reason why I do a disclaimer is because these are my 3 picks that I think a casual music fan, a hardcore jazz fan, somebody that's visiting town, somebody that wants to experience a new club would dig. But by no means, these are the only shows happening in Chicago. Of course, you can get all the information at chicagojazz.com. We have tons of clubs, tons of shows, tons of schedules. But these are my 3 picks that I don't think you can go wrong if you don't know where to go on this coming weekend. So let's just kick it off. Green Mill. We all know the Green Mill.
Classic.
Right.
Love the Green Mill. Brad Goode is back in town. Great trumpeter, but it's a Brad Goode quartet Friday and Saturday night, February 2nd and 3rd at the Green Mill. That is a place to be. Do not miss that show. All right, my second pick of the week is over at Winters, but February 2nd, Russ Phillips Quartet with special guest Andy Brown. Now, Russ is a killer trombone player. He's been around town forever. I'm sure everybody knows who Russ Phillips is. Great group, and Andy Brown, the great guitarist, he's going to be performing along with them. So that's February 2nd at Winters Jazz Club right there in Streeterville. The Jazz Showcase, February 1st through February 4th. Yes, Super Bowl Sunday, they're still having jazz there. And also, by the way, 3 p.m., 4 p.m., Save the Children matinee, thanks to Joe Siegel. So February 1st through February 4th, Big Bari Band featuring Juli and Rajiv Halim. They are going to be there. 4 nights. It's going to be killing. I'm sure everybody knows who Juli Woods is.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who Rajiv is. So that is February 1st through the 4th at the Jazz Showcase. Of course, guys, I am so happy you guys came down. Hopefully you enjoyed having some discussions over a hot dog here.
Thanks
in
for having
beautiful
us.
Bridgeport.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And, all right, so February 10th, Winters Jazz Club, an acoustic tribute to Jarreau, Joanne Daugherty, Bruce Henry. Appreciate you guys coming in. And of course, if I don't see you somewhere this weekend. Hopefully, I will see you somewhere out on the scene.